is what happens. Actions trigger feelings, just as feelings trigger actions. Now, let me tell you of a little test you can make which will prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that a good attitude can change a person's life as dramatically as walking from a darkened room into the bright, clear light of day. Not long ago, I read a line which went, "Life is dull only to dull people." This is true, but it also could have read, "Life is interesting only to interesting people," or "Life is successful only to successful people." And what I'm trying to say is that you must first become, mentally, from an attitude standpoint, that which you wish to achieve. A famous restaurateur was being interviewed by a reporter who asked, "When did you become successful?" He replied, "I was successful when I was sleeping on park benches, because I knew what I wanted to do and that I would do it." In short, his attitude had been one of success, of expecting success, long before the material, the tangible rewards of success had been earned. We'll get into this particular phase of Lead the Field in record number 3, A Worthy Destination. But for now, remember that a person must act, look, and because of these things, feel successful before the success he seeks can come. Chances are you know people who seem to be what others call lucky. All kinds of good and wonderful things seem to happen to them, and they give the impression of happily sailing through life, having a wonderful time, and getting more accomplished in a year than most people do in 5. This has been figured out fairly scientifically, and if anyone will conscientiously go about the test I'm going to recommend, and stay with it every day for the next 30 days without fail, that person can join this small, happy, and extremely productive group of people. He'll find himself becoming lucky, as they say, and most of his problems will pretty well take care of themselves. Of this you can be sure. The results will be nothing short of amazing. Now, it makes no difference how good a person's attitude has been in the past. Anything can be improved upon, and it's the small refinements upon something already good that makes it great. So here's the test. For the next 30 days, act toward the world, everything and everyone with whom you come in contact, with the attitude which represents the kind of results you want to achieve. That is, if the result you want is more success in what you're doing, act as though you are already in possession of the success you seek. If you want others to treat you with admiration and respect, treat others with admiration and respect first. Have you ever stopped to think of this? Every human being on earth is the most important human being on earth as far as he or she is concerned. You may never get anyone to admit it, but it's a fact. So for the next 30 days, treat every person with whom you come in contact as the most important person on earth. Quickly develops into an habitual attitude. When a person does this, he should realize he has already placed himself on the road to what he seeks. He is right now in the top 5% of the people in this or any other country. He has prepared the ground and planted the seed. He has made of himself a magnet, an embodiment of that which he seeks. Before metal can be cast into a desired shape, the mold, the expectant receptacle, must first be fashioned. Before a building can be erected, the excavation must be made and the foundation laid. And before a person can achieve the kind of life he wants, he must become that kind of individual. He must think, act, talk, walk, and conduct himself in all of his affairs as would the person he wishes to become. He is then actually that person, and the things that person would have and do will naturally come to him. Almost immediately, a change will be noticed. Irritations that used to frustrate and annoy disappear. When some less informed individual gives you a bad time, stay on the track. When someone cuts in front of you with his car or acts in any other manner that shows his ignorance and lack of courtesy, don't permit yourself to drop to his level. Pity him, for that's what he really deserves. That's the very group a person doesn't want to belong to. And if he acts like them, well, let's face it, he belongs with them.
Shalom. All praises and fear and glory to and honors to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakwadash. And shalom to the elect, the true soldiers, the true warriors, defenders of the gospel, the true believers that have the true faith and are not doubting in the power of the Lord. Lord willing, this is edifying, and I want to start with Matthew 17 and verse 12. Let me jump actually to verse 9. Matthew 17, verse 9. And as they came down from the mountain, Yahushua charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, why then say the scribes that Elias must come first, must first come? Yahushua answered and said, unto them Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spoke unto them of John the Baptist. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oftentimes he falleth into the fire and often into the water. So the Lord said that the narrow path, right, will be set in the middle of a dangerous place, where, on the side of it would be fire and water. So if you're falling into the water or the fire, you're a lunatic, just like this man's son, and it's heavy because that means that you don't have faith. You don't have true faith to just walk straight, no matter what you see, no matter what the obstacle is, no matter what men tell you. You're gonna have faith, and if you have true faith, you're gonna go straight. But if you don't have faith, you're gonna be a lunatic. You're gonna be tossed to and fro. You're gonna fall on the water or the fire. You're not going to continue stepping forward. Verse 15 says, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed, for oftentimes he falleth into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Right. And you see, the thing is, you can't expect, for you to be healed by a disciple. You got to put your part. You got to actually want to be healed. And that's the thing. A lot of our people don't want to be healed. And, we want our people healed. Because at the end of the day, we love our people, but we hate how sick they are, and they just don't want to be healed. It says, verse 18, it says, and Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, why could not we cast him out? Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief. So even the disciples had unbelief, meaning that they were still being molded. They were still being strengthened, But this is the time of being complete. All this had happened and is written for our learning and our improvement. There's no excuses. You can't look back and like, oh, look, the disciples couldn't do it. No, this is further down the line right now. We have to exceed in righteousness. Verse 20 says, and Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Let me get James chapter 3, verse 1. It says, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us. And we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet they are turned about with a very small helm. And these things is basically explaining how small things are what control the greater and big things. You can control a horse by just giving them a little treat. You can control a ship by just um, turning the wheel, which is basically a push, a helm. And also, what else it says, verse 5, when even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things, behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. So the Lord, He's using us a little fire to kindle great wickedness. And that little fire is the remnant, is the elect. Verse 6, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity, so is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. Verse 7, for every kind of beasts, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the air, in the sea, is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind. Thinking about fire, right? You're not going to be consumed of the fire if you are part of that fire. If you're part of that fire that's kindling. But if you're just flesh and not fire, you're not, you don't mix well with that fire. If you don't mix well and add on to that fire, you're going to be destroyed by the fire. So you're either going to be for the truth or be destroyed by the truth. There's nothing in between. Verse 8, but the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we power Yahweh Shemashai, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of power. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be. And that's what's going on with these false prophets, false men of the Lord. That they're not at all defending the gospel. They're not even learning more about Yahushua. They're just learning about the world is what they're doing. And like I just read, the Lord, He's using a small fire to kindle, and bring His revenge. Now, if you have a mouth that is bringing scriptures out and some truth, and then you use that same mouth to speak about the world and a whole bunch of nonsense, the Lord is not giving you anything profitable. He's actually destroying you in because you need to be 100% on one side. The Lord said it is better for you to never know this truth if you're just gonna basically half-ass it, or if you were lukewarm. It's better for you to be either cold or hot, but not lukewarm, because lukewarm is in the middle. Let me get that real quick. It says, right. It says, Revelation 3:15 says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. You see? So the Lord is spewing out, spitting out 2/3 of our people. Just like the heathens in Esau is nothing but like spittle. Well, also you 2/3 are spittle because the Lord is spitting you out. He's rejecting the multitude. And I just got another precept in mind where the Lord says, um, basically, only a few have been chosen. You see, because you can be called, but the reward is to be chosen. And once you're chosen, you have the responsibility to act upon it. Just like that opening clip, talking about the attitude. It's all about what attitude you have. If you have the attitude of a warrior, then guess what? You are a warrior. If you have an attitude of a follower of men, then you're gonna follow men. But if you have an attitude of being strong, positive, full of faith, and you're adding on to that faith with the scriptures and the history of our people, you're going to become what you're striving to be. And we're not striving to be rappers and CEOs and billionaires. We're not striving for that because we know that has an end and it's expiring very soon. What we're looking for is eternal life, eternal strength, eternal faith, eternal protection. And that all is provided through Yahweh Shai. So I just wanted to bring that out. Stay strong, brothers. Continue firing each other up and continue molding each other because it's a constant build and it's a constant battle. Just like throughout the scriptures, we see that our people were building, but they were also fighting at the same time because our enemies, they see us building and they want to bring it down. So therefore, we have to fight and protect what we're building and finish what we're building. With that, let's give all praises and fear and glory and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Bababal, Shalom.